Hello, I'm Chiman Cheche. Today lesson 8 is on the case study for the business and investment questions. So let's start with the case study. I'm using the same chart as in lesson 7, so we can see how is it different in terms of answering questions of different topics with the same chart. So now, for the case study is about Mr. King, who approached Mrs. Xiao that he has someone invested in his cafe business. And Mr. King is open for another investor to join in into the business again. Mrs. Xiao is a good friend of Mr. King, and she is asking if this is a good investment to go for. So here we have Mr. King, who asks for the investment. And we have Mrs. Xiao, who is invited into the business itself as the investor. And Mrs. Xiao is interested to know whether the investment is to go for. Now, first step is to find the answer box. Answer box is in the our pillar, sin. Sin is here. This is the answer box. Second, for the business and investment questions, we need to identify the useful God, which is referring to the profit. Life door. This is where the profit is, or profit supposed to be. Next, we need to identify whether this is a partnership or just investment only. In this case, Mrs. Xiao, if she were to come into the business, she will be the investor. She's not the active partner. So we do not need to look at the partner box because it's not an active partner. So let's look at the box itself. We analyze the box. Box 3. Box 3, in terms of business, it looks like a good business idea. It's an upward trend. Sin. Sin here does not refer to the mistake. It refers to a plan of objective. Darkness. Darkness could mean something hidden. It could be a hidden agenda. Obstruct means a hindrance related to skills, because this is a coffee business. Bandit. Bandit is losing money, but in terms of a business, it could mean a risky business that involves huge money. Now, we look at the profit. Profit is in the Palace 1. Palace 1 has a limitation. Life door means it's a good opportunity. It's profitable. Leader means someone is helping. It could be like Mr. King said before, he has already had someone invested in the business. So he's looking for another one, probably is to expand the business. Here we have Wu. Wu means capital. That means the business itself already profitable and it has enough capital. Destroyer means this business looks like very competitive and tend to attract gossip or so-called envy. Now, we need to see where is Mrs. Xiao. We need to see whether she is in harmony with the business or clashing. Where is Mrs. Xiao? Mrs. Xiao is in the day pillar. Here, Jia is hidden. How do we find Jia? Again, we refer to this chart. Finding hidden Jia. Jia Shu is found in G. G is in box 4. This is Mrs. Xiao. So what kind of character is Mrs. Xiao? Mrs. Xiao is a gentle person. She is very cooperative, amicable, and friendly. Mrs. Xiao likes to look good. Perhaps she wears branded items, branded bags. And she is also a generous, kind-hearted, and hardworking person. Now, we look at the element relationship. Profit, the answer, and Mrs. Xiao. The answer and Mrs. Xiao's are on the wood element. The profit is in water element. I want you to look at this chart. Water, wood, and wood. Mrs. Xiao is here. The answer is here. And this is the profit, the business itself. What are their relationship? Water, the business, is producing Mrs. Xiao. Now, let us look at it holistically and whether it is logical or makes sense for Mrs. Xiao to invest in this business. This is 2025. 2025, we are having relatively good economic condition. But again, this year marks one of the highest year in which that rental is also at the high. We assume that the coffee business is renting a premises and the rental will be high. In this answer box, we can see bandit, possibility of losing huge money, even though there is a opportunity to grow. The business itself is profitable. Capital is enough. But again, logically, in this year, rental is high. Another thing that to consider is labor. This box, obstruct and sin, is referring to plan, whether they have good plan or strategy. And obstructs means a hindrance or blockage related to skills. It could be the labor are not skillful enough to perform. Another thing to consider is the utility cost. Utility cost is also at high price in this year, like water, electricity, operating costs. One more thing to consider is the material cost. So we do not have all of these numbers. So we couldn't really judge whether the business itself is sustainable in the long term. So how do we answer this question? I would say the business proposal is not worth considering, though it has growth opportunity and limitation due to the competition market and high rent. Business will be very competitive. I would say that this is a high-risk business because of the huge capital involving labor, rent, operating costs, and material costs. So if Mrs. Xiao were to consider to invest in this business, she is advisable to have a clear objective or clear plan to exit. But overall, if the business itself could come up with a creative concept, it should be sustainable in the long term, provided, of course, we have all these numbers. But as of now, we cannot be sure. That is my opinion on these questions.